Luffy socks Imu right in the face, embarrassing and humiliating the king of the world in an embarrassing page, with us getting the full Brook flashback in a tragic twist, with a plot twist I really didn't see coming. This has got to be one of the most insane chapters, with Imu dropping lore on Elbaf from 800 years ago. Let's get right into these roars. Be sure to leave a like in the video, it helps out a lot, thank you very much, and of course subscribe if you love One Piece content, manga, roars, reviews, theories, everything to do with the One Piece manga. Trust me, you will not regret subscribing to this channel. You're gonna love it and you can change your mind at any time. Without further ado, let's start. We have the cover page here, which I'll show very quickly. It's just Loki drawing Ida, very cute. Now we have the first two pages. Keep in mind, I'm gonna say this in the beginning, it's right to left. So the first page is the one on the right, the next page is the one on the left. I'm saying that so you don't get confused. So of course on the first page we can see like the fighting is still going on and Brook is actually kind of dazed. As we can see, the Holy Knight is there, Mars is there, and of course Brook instantly goes down to look at the king and he begins to cry as he remembers his flashback. This page is very wild and I have the translations, not the full ones, but I have a very decent amount of summaries which I will be reading alongside the pages, so keep that in mind as I go. Now here's the next page and I'm going to translate a lot of this, but in the next two pages on the right we have Imu there. Yes, Imu was there, he was present in the flashback. Brook just didn't notice him because he was focused on the dead king, but we already knew this because we can see Saint Mars was actually possessed by Imu, judging by the eyes, but he was there the whole time. Insane that Imu interacted with Brook. They had an interaction before like almost all the Straw Hats were even born actually, right? But of course Imu vanishes and Saint Mars is desummoned and we have a lot of interesting dialogue going on here as well, where Brook points the sword at the man and Gonko and Brook actually begin to argue. So what's going on here? Well, the summaries are Shuri reveals to Brook that the king lied to the Espria kingdom. The world government didn't want 1,000 slaves, they wanted the king to hand Shiryu over to them. And that's sort of what's going on with the argument here, that we can see them talking about it. Of course, Gonko isn't in her right mind because she is currently like literally being hypnotized by Imu's possession. More than Adomi Reversi, by the way, like she's actually got Imu possessed. And of course, in the next two pages, we have the reveal of Manmea Gro or Grolo, like whichever way you want to say it. Like the summary and translators are saying like there's two type of ways to say it. We'll see what the Viz and TCB say, but as Brook is arguing, the man interrupts. We can see he's got double colored eyes and his clown shoes befitting of this guy. Brook is stunned as he falls on the floor. Now of course the actual summary here is Manmea Grolo says he remembers Brook because there was a brat with an afro hair among Candel's servants, but what Brook doesn't know was Grolo was never seen by Brook because he was not allowed to come close to him when Brook was a child during the time in the Espria kingdom. And of course it is revealed that Gunko's biological father is indeed Manmea Grolo. So I made a video on this saying, you know, that celestial dragon that came did some bad things too, because like literally Oda's done this 3 times before. This is the 3rd time he's doing, like, I'm just gonna say in quotes, something bad, and celestial dragons doing something to a woman. Like, it's just, he really likes to repeat his writing, so it was very predictable. Made a whole video on it. I guessed it was either Saint Mars or it was this celestial dragon here. It ended up being this celestial dragon who is the father of Gonko. It's just kind of a shame. It's really sad. It's just tragic to say the least, because the king actually really loved his daughter, even though it wasn't his own biological daughter, and was willing to like even die for it. Just some really depressing stuff. But of course we have the next two pages where Brook is crying and he's gonna like face off against Gonko possessed, and Gonko stabs Brook right in the brains. Some people are saying Brook was saved by his afro, but he wasn't. He was actually stabbed through the head, and apparently like it just went past his brain and some tendons, and that's how he didn't die. We know it went through his head and not just his afro because we see Brook actually get scars over it. This is like a very tragic page, and of course the translations here are saying Shuri stabs her sword through Brook's head using Gavot Bon de Event, which is the same attack Brook uses in the present, and she leaves the castle with her father while possessed. It's just insane and tragic for Brook's backstory. Of course, we see in the next page, soldiers help Brook and he wakes up after a while. One of the soldiers says the main veins and brainstem were all perfectly untouched when the head was penetrated by the sword. When the soldier tells Brook that King Luvian died, Brook cries in terror and the flashback ends. And of course, we can actually see on the page it's happening here, like he wakes up, he's got a bit of stubble, the kingdom's in ruins, but like some people survived. I guess after Gonko left, they kind of like withdrew their forces because they got what they wanted. And of course, when Brook remembers it, he just goes into a massive cry and even like holds his head as it bleeds. It is incredibly tragic and an incredibly depressing page to say the least. And of course, in the next two pages we go back to the present time time with all the Straw Hats listening, and they're just crying. They're bawling their eyes out as they're listening to this backstory. By the way, this has some insane implications for Loki, but back in the present, Brook explains to his Nakamas, don't know why they put Nakamas, but whatever, that back then they didn't even know devil fruits existed. Brook always thought he saw the king's death and Gonko looking like a devil as a hallucination that terrified him forever. Now he tearfully wonders if he can trust Princess Shiryu once more. Basically, this is Oda's way of trying to retcon everything. Like, wait, Brook, saw all of this happen. How did you not know about it? That's kind of the justification, which makes sense. Like, we saw back in the West Blue and East Blue, like, it is even seen as a myth, like, are devil fruits even real? That kind of thing. I don't know. I think all of that, like, even being the case, kind of is strange, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, everyone does try to help him. Like, Frankie's like radical, and of course we see like in the next page right there, which is what I'm talking about, everyone's like, yeah, we'll help you, Brook, we'll absolutely help you, and Brook like just begins running as he's crying, I'm assuming to Gonko. And now of course we got back to Luffy fully eating his food. Now I want to remind you, we see in this page here, Imu and Loki are talking. Loki actually stole Imu during this entire time. The entire time Brook told his flashback, which was told in real time, because we see all the Straw Hats react emotionally, cry. They heard the full story. Beginning to end, they heard this story of his flashback. Loki, and we come back to real time after Brook is done, he's still holding him off. Granted, Imu looks hyper clean, like he took 25 showers back to back to back. Look, like he literally looks so clean, and Loki looks like he's on the brink of death, so it's not like he's winning or anything, but just impressive that he stalled him this long, like including everything we saw before. But of course, Luffy eats up his food, he's at full power, rockets through like an insane speed feat by Luffy in base. He travels across the entire giant island. Like that is nuts. Like, to put it into perspective, if the current Luffy were to be in Dressrosa again, he would literally like from the floor, like in one single leap, like in base, he could literally jump all the way to where Doflamingo is. Like what Luffy is doing is 10 times crazier than that. It's just kind of insane like how much stronger all the characters were, which makes sense, But Imu versus Loki continues. Imu says that saving the children was what led to the defeat of the giants 800 years ago, and now history will repeat itself. Seems like this isn't the first time Imu has gone over this scummy chat like tactic. But man, in the next page we have an insane double page spread with Luffy coming out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, and sucking Imu right in the face, humiliating him in an embarrassing punch, making him look like Saint Charles. Oh my goodness. And Luffy shouts as he punches him, "Get out of Elbaf, you bastard," and the chapter ends right there. There is no break week. That is utterly embarrassing. Now, one thing I want to say, I did do a live stream reacting to the roars as they came out, and my initial reaction was, oh my god, this is so embarrassing for Imu. But there was actually a viewer in the chat, Cherry Riz, if you remember, like, if he's watching, shout out you in the chat during the live stream, he mentioned that, maybe we shouldn't overreact just yet, because, and I remember this very clearly, when Luffy actually punched Kaido for the first time, I remember like that week, everyone was saying, oh my god, Kaido's a fraud. Kaido is an absolute bum. No way Luffy like just knocked him to the ground and like embarrassed him that badly. Then of course we got the chapter next week where Luffy unleashed Gear 4th, 0 damage to Kaido and got one shot. So all I'm saying is, I do remember that very clearly. Oda is a man of like repeating himself. He does like the same format for like 50 arcs, like, oh, the princess is here, this is happening here, like the same thing happens every time. So I just wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna happen again. Luffy socks the main villain like in a shocking page, which really shocked me by the way, and I'm not gonna lie, it does look crazy, it looks very embarrassing, but we probably will get it in the next chapter of Imu dominating them, and I need that. Imu, I got a lot of stocks in you. I really like Imu. I love the fact that he's a yapper, his design is awesome. You better put belt to ass next chapter. This is base Luffy like doing this to you. This is base Luffy embarrassing you. You gotta put both of them, like just the way Kizaru and Saint San were getting dominated, like they were getting donkey washed and pissed on by Gear 5 Luffy during Egghead. Like, I need to see that happening right here. Even a 2v1 manhandling the Nika and the Nidhogg at the same time to redeem himself for this embarrassing punch right here. Like, it's not just the fact that he got punched. I'm not saying, oh my god, Luffy's so much stronger than him. No, I'm saying it just looks crazy. It looks embarrassing, man. King of the world getting done like that? Nuffs or not, man. You, like, Imu, redeem yourself. I'm expecting an Imu masterclass chapter. Next chapter, it better happen. Like, you better, oh my god, you better manhandle these guys, Imu. You better do it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments comments down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video, helps out so much. Thank you very much. And of course, subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality One Piece content like this. If you've watched this far, you're gonna love this channel. Trust me, I cover raws, hints, full chapter reviews, theories, and everything related to the One Piece manga. You will not regret subscribing, and like I always say, you can unsubscribe if you ever change your mind, so don't worry. But that's all from me, everybody. Have a wonderful day and take care.